Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, the NBA is back. Jaylen Brown calls his shot. Carmelo Anthony and Devin Booker are giving tours of their sneaker closets. Our favorite sneaker dropper this week, and of course, Hard Pass. All right, let's start with some hot takes. So, the NBA is back in the building as preseason and media days kicked off. We've got our first look at Anthony Edwards wearing his signature Adidas AE1 with his T-Wolves uniform, Kyrie Irving rocking an Anta Shockwave 5 Pro, emo Jimmy Butler doing his best impersonation of 2005 Pete Wentz, so no one will ask him about Dame Lillard going to the Bucks, and LeBron James in his familiar number 23, taking it back to the last time the culture really cared about his signature shoes with the Nike LeBron 10 Low Championship pack. Then there's the attention grabbers like Gary Trent Jr. wearing Rick Owens cargo basket sneakers, Chris Paul bringing back his Jordan CP3 threes in totally normal, not weird at all Warriors blue, Devin Booker pulling some Chuck Taylors that we saw in Architectural Digest, more on that later, and Nikola Jokic in Air Force Ones, looking like the teenager who had an amazing summer with his friends, but now has to go back to his expensive private school where he's clearly miserable. Jaylen Brown was a guest on Sneaker Shopping, and he had his own hot take on the current state of signature sneakers.
Something new. I think there needs to be some disruption in the sneaker game because everything is kind of getting boring. The designs are getting lazy. Some of the designs, even for athletes, is just trash.
Yeah. I'm not going to get into the today's signature shoes are not authentic debate because everybody's authentic meter is different. Like, does Jaylin think his teammate Jason Tatum's Tatum 1 is inauthentic to Tatum's values? Was he gritting his teeth every time he had to put on certain Adidas Resto mods? I'd like to hear some specific examples instead of blanket statements, but I doubt it's actually that deep. I gotta say though, he is setting the bar high for his own eventual signature shoes or the utopia where he's wearing more than one brand. His words, not mine.
Everybody's like either Nike or Adidas or Puma. What I'm envisioning is that it's gonna be a combination of everything. Why do I gotta sign with just one?
He did just do a collab with Bape, which you can see on the show, and like the signature shoe design discussion, I'll let y'all decide how to feel about Brown expressing a lack of originality when it comes to today's product while working with a brand who famously grew to prominence in the sneaker world thanks to an aping of a Bruce Kilgore design decades prior. If I had to guess, Brown wants to use the brand he owns, Juice, and turn it into his own version of the late Virgil Abloh's Off-White. So in this hypothetical, for a season or two, you might see Juice Nikes. After all, he did say he was willing to sit with Nike even after he criticized them while wearing Kobe Protros. And when that's done, he could do a spell with New Balance and drop Juice 550s, Juice Pumas, Juice Antas. I see the vision, and hell, it would be very interesting if he could pull it off. I just wonder if any of these big brands would be willing to work with Jaylin on something that's short term. For one-off Air Force Ones, Puma Clydes, and Solomon XT6s, maybe. Like a GT cut with Juice branding could happen, but brands signing on to do one, maybe two signature shoes? Not sure if the return on investment is worth it on these brands. Like, as much as I would love to see this happen, it's more likely Jaylin figures out how to go left first. Sorry, the Laker fan in me, it's had to get in there for a little bit. USC quarterback Caleb Williams dazzled against Deion Sanders in Colorado last week, but more importantly, he caught our attention with his cleat game. He wore a pair of Nike LeBron 4 cleats and shouted out James when he did the crown pose. I can't front. I'm all for kids doing LeBron celebrations and wearing LeBron cleats, especially. I mean, it makes sense. All of these kids playing in college now grew up watching James, but let's go back to the cleats. Ohio State breaks out with the LeBron cleats since they are a LeBron school, and hopefully the Mamba program schools go beyond hoops and we see Kobe cleats beyond the occasional custom as well. Why? Because I'm so sick and tired of seeing Jordan 1 cleats, man. Not Jordan cleats in general, like more 11s and 5s would be nice, or just do what Ronnie Lott did and be a badass who wears Bread 4s at the Super Bowl. I'm just worn out on Jordan 1 cleats in all sports. Well, except golf. Why? No reason. It's like when pro wrestlers discovered sneaker culture and everybody started wearing ones and Yeezy 350s. I think it was when CM Punk half-heartedly wore ones where I was like, yeah, wrestlers need to stop. Carmelo Anthony and Devin Booker in their respective fancy homes recently popped up on separate Architectural Digest profiles. And of course, we got to peek at their sneaker closets. Way to steal my gimmick, Architectural Digest. I'm kidding, of course, but I'm always curious whenever a celebrity does a spread or a video for the publication because it usually means that the featured house is about to be put on the market. So I doubt Mello or Booker would include their sneaker collection as part of the sale. But based on what we saw, I think I might go with Anthony's. Like, he did say that he likes to actually wear his shoes, but I didn't really see a lot of beaters on those shelves. At least with Book, you could see some of those Chucks had some wear and tear on them. Look, I'm not accusing Melo of not wearing his kicks, but it would be nice to see what's in his actual rotation. You know, the sneakers that are on a small rack by the front door. I bet you Melo goes through the same problem we all have. We will spend 10 to 15 minutes staring at our boxes, looking for something to rock, but eventually settle for the same Vomeros or 991s that we've been wearing almost every day for the past month. And speaking of New Balance, they got way more free publicity this week thanks to Taylor Swift wearing the Ganni New Balance 1906R. Yeah, one time is a coincidence. 2 times, there's a bag involved. Congrats to New Balance because the Swifties are going to eat all of this up. Shoe Palace about to be packed with Taylor's fans buying up all the 550s and matching them with 3XL Malcolm X t-shirts with zero irony. All right, our pick of the week is, well, the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low Golf. This is supposed to be on the 13th for $170. I mean, honestly, what else was it going to be? It's Travis and Jordan Brand, and it's for playing golf. Doesn't get much better. Okay, it can get better. Like, I'm still holding out hope for a Tiger Woods and Jordan Brand collab, but there's few things on the hype meter that draw quite like Travis and Jordan Brand. By the way, check out our quick unboxing of the special care package from Jordan Brand this week on the socials at Cousteau, basically everywhere. All right, let's keep going with the hot takes. We don't celebrate a lot of holidays here on Hard Pass, but the weekends when there's a big golf event and a wrestling pay-per-view, yeah, we kind of live for those moments. Let's start with the Ryder Cup. The only team golf event that really matters concluded in San Marco Simone in Italy before we woke up on Sunday morning, time difference and whatnot. It ended up not being particularly memorable, with Team Europe staving off any chance Team USA had a historic comeback. The fireworks came on day 2, when the hatless Patrick Cantlay and US Open champ Wyndham Clark tried to get Team USA back into contention with a win on the final match of the Saturday afternoon session. They ended up being Rory McIlroy and Matt Fitzpatrick, but in the process of doing that, Cantlay's caddy, Joe La Puma, broke the one rule all caddies need to follow no matter the circumstances. Don't make it about you. It's like referees in basketball and football, umpires in baseball, and people who comment more than once every few months on social media. Unless your name is Adolphus Golf Ball Hull, aka the coolest caddy who ever caddied, caddies might as well be another face in the crowd. The don't make it about you rule should really be called the Stevie Williams rule, who probably thinks he won 14 majors. Like, bruh, Stevie, they don't love you like that. You ain't you ain't Tiger. Anyways, back to Joe. While Rory and Fitz were lining up their putts to potentially tie the match, Joe was waving his hat around to mock the fans who were giving Cantlay a hard time throughout the day, which we'll talk about the hat drama of it all in a second. I mean, sure, it's the Ryder Cup. Be emotional. Support your guy. Just don't do it in a way that's bothering someone who's trying to line up a putt, especially someone who's trying to have a match on the 18th. And when that player tells you back up, like Rory did, don't double back and talk smack to him and the other team's captain, telling them to shut the F up. Again, he's a caddy and he's not golf ball. So yeah, Joe messed up. It was so heated that Rory was still mad half an hour later and let out his frustration on the first American he saw, his words, not mine, in another caddy, Jim Bones McKay. In the end, it was for nothing, as Team Europe won and Rory and Joe appeared to have made up, chalking it up to the emotion of the Ryder Cup, which is, again, acceptable up to a point because it's the only team golf event that matters. At the same time, thanks, Joe, for giving us something to talk about besides, well, Team USA got their ass handed to them in the Ryder Cup again. We already got enough Team USA didn't deliver noise from the FIBA World Cup debacle a few weeks ago. As for the whole hat saga, allegedly, the reason Cantlay did not wear the Team USA hat is because he was upset that players were not being paid for participating in the Ryder Cup. This report has since been denied by Cantlay and Team USA, who showed support for Cantlay by waving their hats throughout the event when they had the chance to stick it to the crowd. I mean, whatever. Players get paid, they don't get paid. I couldn't care less. Each player gets a $200,000 donation to their charities, so there's that. What I'm more interested in is that an athlete may or may not have protested an event that is all about national pride because he felt he was not being compensated for his services, and to show his displeasure, he refused to wear the hat of his country. It's still not clear if the report is true or just a wildly made up story, but because it was Patrick Cantlay, it was nothing more than bulletin board material for Team Europe's fans. If Phil Mickelson had whined about not being paid when he was still invited to play in Ryder Cup, everyone would laugh it off and be like, oh, that's just Phil being Phil. He just likes money. Why? Can't talk about that. But if Colin Morikawa refused to wear that hat, he might not be allowed back to the States because the hot takes would be so toxic and very, very, very racist. Could you imagine if Tony Finau had been on Team USA and didn't wear that hat? I don't even want to think about the firestorm if a story like that was tied to Tiger Woods. Trump would have flown to Italy to take back the Presidential Medal of Freedom he gave Tiger. Just something I thought about as that was all going down. Okay, now on to wrestling. So, Edge. Adam Copeland is all elite. That's cool and all, but yo, he can use Metalingus? That's the genius of being good enough friends with the band that plays your entrance music. They'll let you use it wherever you go. It worked for Cody Rhodes, it worked for CM Punk, and now it works for Adam Copeland. Yeah, that's gonna take a while to get used to. I think MJF had the right idea. Just say Edge. Wait until Tony Khan gets on your case and then roll your eyes and say Adam Copeland.
Darby Allin, Christian Cage, Edge, Malachi Black,
Whoa.
Adam Copeland.
Anyways, back to the Metalingus of it all. No offense to WWE or AEW's in-house music teams, but with movement between the big two companies becoming more and more commonplace, all these wrestlers need to be coming up with their own bangers so they don't have to start over when they jump ship. Like, take my guy Swerve Strickland. He's just now starting to build towards something big in AEW. But if he ever went back to WWE, you better believe he's bringing his theme music and hopefully Prince Nana with him. Speaking of Swerve, let's talk about that something big. Even though he's been in AEW for over a year and even became a tag team champ, it's only now that he's getting a chance to possibly move up the card, winning a one-on-one match against Hangman Adam Page on pay-per-view. The presentation, the theme song, the swag, and the skill set, it's already there. He just needed the signature win. Hopefully, this means a more featured role for Swerve because I cannot wait for him to bring Rick Ross back into the mix so we can hear more gems like this.
Accusations! These are not accusations. This is false accusations.
And Prince Nana? I never watched Ring of Honor, so I'm only hearing about him now. But man, let the man dance, haters. He's getting a moment to finally shine on a big stage, and the dance is a perfect contrast to Swerve's new demeanor. Let Swerve be a serious badass while Nana handles all the shenanigans. Like, if you can't appreciate these little amazing character moments by Nana, we can't be wrestling buddies. Meanwhile, over at WWE, congrats go out to Trick Williams. Not only is he the new NXT North American champion, he may have stolen Whoop That Trick from the Memphis Grizzlies cleanly because it's not like anybody on that team can say anything right now that won't be misinterpreted. See the Nike Ja 1, we ain't ducking no smoke. Like Swerve, Trick is being positioned as a featured guy now, and I'll be interested to see how they continue his story with Carmelo Hayes now that Melo is no longer NXT champion. Will we see the wrestling tale as old as time where two friends now have to fight because, duh, it's wrestling? Or will we see a more nuanced take that eventually leads to two friends who have to fight because, duh, it's wrestling? As fun as it would be to see the latter, the former might be the way to go if Melo is bound for the main roster in the near future. As good as he is now, Trick needs more reps in NXT, and honestly, we need to appreciate Whoop That Trick and Booker T bad ad-libbing to it for as long as we have it because there's no guarantee that it will make it to a Raw or SmackDown without being bleeped out by the censors. Oh, and of course, as we record this, I was just informed that Trick lost his title back to Dominic Mysterio on NXT this past Tuesday. Guess that was just a surprise for the sake of a surprise. This is what happens when you forget to read the recaps or watch the replays. Well, hopefully that wasn't just a one-off to pop on PLE and the WWE sees real potential in Trick down the line. All right, it's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. like Spider-Man sneakers. But before we do that, here's a quick plug to check out @Cousteau on Instagram and TikTok, because you'll see clips like this that might as well be a hard pass.
The gatekeeping has gone to getting the birdie. So if you're new to golf, according to this person, you are ineligible to get a pair of golf shoes. And that just don't sit well with me. Now, this person could very well may be joking, but I didn't see any LOLs or laughing emojis or anything like that. So I'm going to take it that they were serious. And that bothers me a little.
Okay, back to Spider-Man. So for this segment, I'm going to speak on behalf of co-writer, the real one, and the biggest spider dork basically that I know. It doesn't matter if it's Peter Parker, Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, Miguel O'Hara, Mayday Parker, Takuya Yamashiro, or John Mulaney voicing a pig. Any spider avatar is likely to be his favorite. So I don't think I need to tell you how much he loved this recent spider run across all media. Whether it's live action films or animated masterpieces or 5-star video games, except for the spider sneakers. He hates them. You might even say he's No, you used that a bit one too many times, co-writer. We're done. No more damn it. Okay, that was the last one. Spider-Man has a surprisingly deep sneaker history. Sure, there's countless kid shoes and the Crocs collab that dropped earlier this year. Those are in a separate category in his mind. Although I would argue Crocs are sneakers and sneakers are Crocs, but whatever. This is his segment. When the big brands release official Spider-Man and spider-adjacent sneakers, the co-writer Tingle is on high alert. Like, brands ranging from Vans to Bathing Ape to Reebok have dropped official Spider-Man sneakers. And Nike SB even released an unofficial SB Dunk Mid in Spidey colors. But they don't draw co-writer's ire because they reference Silver Age Spider-Man, which was before his time. And it would really be hating for the sake of hating to say anything negative about a Vans slip-on with John Romita Jr. art on it. Like, it's just cool we get to appreciate legends like that today. Co-writer says that the beef started with what people call the Spider-Man Nike Air Foamposite Pro. Released in 2014 during the tail end of people caring about phones with graphics on them, it was a crimson red and vivid blue colorway with a splash of black splitting the two apart. It wasn't an official collab, so the culture dubbed these Spider-Man. I personally couldn't care less. I've never been a foam guy, but co-writer hated it. They were bright red, bright blue, and black, and that was all the people needed to call it a Spider-Man. Someone could at least pointed out that the black could represent Venom consuming Spider-Man, but nobody wanted to take it there. The lackluster kicks continued when New Balance dropped trainers that were tangentially related to Spider-Man Homecoming. Remember those? That's okay. Nobody does. We also saw a bait New Balance 530 that released around the same time, but on the scale of excellent bait cross-media sneakers, this was on the lower tier. Donovan Mitchell's Spider nickname was a great opportunity to hype up the Marvel and Adidas partnership while simultaneously launching Mitchell's signature shoes. However, the yearly Spider-Man Miles Morales and Ghost Spider Adidas Dawn sneakers appear to be designed with kids in mind. Probably not going to see a lot of adults wear Spider-Gwen kicks, no matter how many points Mitchell scores in them. The moment co-writer lost all hope for a wearable Spider shoe was the Air Jordan 1 origin story that was released alongside the first Spider-Verse film. While the shoe got a lot of praise from the community, co-writer felt a straight retro of the actual Chicago ones Miles wore would have been better. You have no idea how many times I saved you all from a full episode of Hard Pass just complaining about them during that time. Then came the Adidas Superstar that video game Miles wore in Spider-Man Miles Morales for the PS4 and PS5. It was cool to see in-game Miles wear sneakers you could buy, but the design left a lot to be desired. There has been progress with this year's Air Jordan 1 Next Chapter. Co-writer thought those J's actually tried to have some connection to the movie, while the limited edition Prowler version was a nice touch. But the momentum went back the other way after he saw the upcoming Adidas Ultra 4D for the Spider-Man 2 game. It reminds him too much of the Spider-Man Foamposites, even if the execution is better. It helps that the Ultra 4D has actual Spidey branding and tells the story of Spider-Man being consumed by the Venom symbiote. Despite those positive traits, co-writer is resigned to the feeling that there will never be a good wearable for grown-ups Spider-Man sneakers. In his mind, the closest to good any brand ever got was an obscure Friends and Family Adidas Prime Boost, who remembers those, for the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and that was limited to only 100 made. Of course, he would pick something that's so hard to find. By the way, if Jaylen Brown is watching, First of all, would love to do an episode of our sneaker closet series with you that we're doing over on Instagram. But also, if you want the blueprint to becoming a brand that can juggle collabs with Nike and Adidas, dude, look no further than Spiderman. Co-Rider might not like any of the shoes, but Spidey, he's out here dropping co-branded sneakers from the big two in the same calendar year. That's impressive, no matter the IP. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you for watching Hard Pass. I'm Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right, I'll see you next week. Peace.